Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it? We are in a fifth game here with Fnatic and XL. What an insane series this has been. Fnatic are just somehow always the kryptonite of BTXL in these best of 5 series in the UKLC. And the prophecy comes true once more. Fnatic have found their way back into this series. They've played incredibly well. Guildbug, I know you wanted to highlight some of the really good things that you felt Fnatic were doing last game.
Yeah, so honestly, it just brings even more joy to me that I see that. Okay, not joy to me that Dan dies in the beginning, but the fact that he dies early, first blooded, gets flashed upon, it on Rek'Sai, heavily early game champion, still finds a way back into the game. So what ends up happening is they start skirmishing towards that top side against that Poppy, which should not be possible in the beginning, but it does work. So when all that happens, we're back to the good old butterfly effect. So they feel the need to send Kasing all the way up to the top side to help out with the skirmish, while down in the bot side, Xmati and Bravado is setting up a freeze against Deadly. He has no way of getting near these minions, and while all that happens, they only go even towards that top side, while Kill's going over to Pride so he can survive the laning phase, Kill's going over to Matthew Felix so he becomes this menace on the 6, as we saw he was, while at the same time, the guy you've been relying on almost throughout the whole season is getting freeze down in bottom lane with no help whatsoever. And from that point on, that's just Dan taking over the game with his bot lane, getting every Drake again. It almost looked like the same game as we just had beforehand. They got all the Drakes, they got Baron. Oh, let's just push all the lanes down. And Xmati and Matthew Felix were just completely monstrous on those characters right there. I feel like that we're going to get some spicy picks coming into this final game. For the first time today even, we're going to see two teams swapping sides.
Yeah, actually, for the big change, we have BTXL on blue side here, which has actually not happened for any of us. We've seen the teams remain on the sides that they have chosen throughout it, but I think XL had choice this time again, and they decided they need to shift things up, change the way they draft, and have gone over to the blue side. Now, this is a winner-takes-all game. The winner will take the UKLC spot and the first seed to the European Masters that takes place at the end of April. So, I mean, I don't know where to start. I don't know. This is going to shift our draft strategy up massively, seeing XL over on the blue side. Kalista has been a thorn in the side of any team that has decided to give her up. Even though Fnatic lost with her in the second game, she still made it incredibly difficult for XL to close out that win. I'm not surprised to see a Ziggs ban, Guildborg. That has been something that Magic Felix has lent on a significant amount in this series, and I think has been a power pick for him, especially versus Deadly's Draven. That was a big issue for him then, and some of the Mega Inferno bombs that last game were just game-changing.
Completely. Now, I'm wondering, we have had 3 power picks throughout this series. We had Neon, we had the 6 who's now banned, and we got Kalista. XL on the blue side now is looking to hit that sweet spot number where only one of these OP champions are up right now, and they do so by removing the Ophelia. Senna's still open as well, and that almost has to be banned on the red side. But now we see up to the blue side now. Last ban, they can ban the Senna themselves if they don't feel confident. Make them ban the Kalista and you take the on, or they can just ban one or the other and force a ban out or trade with the Senna Kalista too. So we got 3 scenarios coming into this, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, well, they banned the Thresh, which is an interesting one. It is a pick that works well with Kalista, but it is also something Kasing will play when the chips are down. Kasing will say, I want to play Thresh, and we know he's got a brilliant Thresh in his wheelhouse, so I think it's a ban that has a multifaceted attack against XL. Now it's up to whether they want to ban Senna, whether they want to ban Kalista. I don't know.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, again, I guess they could ban neither of them so that one of them goes through. I think if I was Fnatic, I probably would say, okay, I don't ban Senna or Kalista, because then I'm likely going to get one of them at the end of this draft phase. And it is going to be the So
here we
now
go.
You have the choice. You have the choice.
And I mean, we haven't seen a Senna today, but this is still 10.5 before the Senna nerfs, and fasting Senna is still so good. I feel like you just have to pick it, and there it goes. Senna to Fnatic, first pick. Just leave the Kalista open for Fnatic now.
Yep, and they also have the Taric if they want that for Bravado, which has been obviously a pick that worked so incredibly well for him, and they will take the Kalista Taric lane. XL have, like, the thing is, I did talk about it previously, when you let Senna through, you do kind of change the dynamic of the bot lane in a way that you actually can get a really sort of early scaling tank and give them a load of gold early on, and you can actually end up having a mid game like Tom Kent. You could have a mid game set, which I've seen before, end up getting like a huge amount of health and resistances in the mid game. And this is a Taxa special. You know, when Taxa needs to play something that he feels really comfortable on, Olaf is one of his most practiced and most played champions in the jungle. He doesn't want to let that go to the time phase.
So I feel like it's I mean, what else there is to prioritize? I get it. Like, you should probably you don't even pick a support here. I mean, carry as it really is down in that bottom lane. So now you secured the Olaf and you secured the LeBlanc. So now they're left with, do we counter the LeBlanc or do we counter the Olaf with a Trundle pick here or something else? It does look like they're going to lean towards that Cassiopeia. We have seen some Lissandra going into LeBlanc too as a counter. Let's see what Masha Felix lands on, and it is going to be the Cassiopeia. So I can only expect that the jungle side of Dan, he's going to have his champion pool decreased heavily here with these two bans coming in from BTXL. Question is, what does Fnatic lean towards? Still a top laner up, and still that quote-unquote carry down in the bot lane needs to be picked.
Yeah, I think you can actually get rid of things like Tom easily enough. Works really well with like a lot of health and a lot of gain. Yeah, so Time Kench goes. That's a pretty obvious Senna combination if you're playing the fasting Senna down in the bot lane. I agree with you. I think you can probably take away some good jungle picks here. It's going to be the Pantheon ban, which maybe leans me towards a potential blind pick Gangplank for Sendo. It is something that he's played a lot of, and he's played really well. It's one of his best champions. So getting rid of the Pantheon right now would maybe lean me towards a potential blind pick Gangplank if BTXL needed to do that. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. And also, obviously, Dan could play that, but I think Dan's been playing so well on Rek'Sai right now. Why would you want to take him off anything else? I think Rek'Sai has been such a big pick for him. Unless XL ban it away, I feel like Fnatic just pick up the Rek'Sai for Dan.
Yeah, and Rek'Sai can enable the early game. I think reason they banned the Pantheon is so they won't get dived down towards that bot side, because Taric and Pantheon is also so good. You can insta-stun him right after the Pantheon's done coming in. Question is, are we going to see them fear the Rek'Sai and respect that, or just remove the Trundle? We're going to see neither. It's going to be Pride's Aatrox taken away here, so no blind pick Aatrox either. Yeah,
okay, so that does mean that I think they're trying to set up a good blind pick, which we can assume will be a blind pick.
It's going to be the jungler. No. I was mistaken. Surely it's going to be the jungler, and you put that top lane as the last pick. So they're afraid that whatever they're going to blind is going to be countered by the Aatrox, and that's why they remove it. And now we see Dan back onto the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, that's what we said would be the case. If it wasn't banned away from him, he's been playing so well on that particular champion over these last two games. I think it's been a real driving force behind their success. So I don't expect them to not play the Rek'Sai for Dan here. Now, I'm expecting a potential gangplank from Sendo, just because... Oh, no, it is a Rumble. There we go.
That could still be Rumble bot. That could still be Rumble bot.
Oh, yes, Rumble yes, I've seen it. Yeah. I saw it in North America. The first time I actually caught that. I think actually Orcs. I think Orcs actually lent me, sort of told me about it, and I think it's something that I haven't seen too much of, so I can't really comment. But he is someone that spikes pretty well off like one or two items. So giving him that gold in the early bot lane, and that's an Ezreal.
Okay, so they put the Ezreal down on the bot side, and then it must just be the regular Senna support as you're used to.
It's a regular Senna support. Okay, so that's a complete twist. I was not expecting that whatsoever, but it is going to be deadly picking up the Ezreal here. And now I assume that you're going to pick into the Rumble if you are in the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, but you can't play towards that weak side GP. It's still up if you want to. Does fairly fine against the Rumble too, but it looks like they're going for the Maokai. Champion, we've only really seen support so far. Let's see if Pride can do better than Bravato on this champion then. All right, I know I have to do this quickly, so I'm not even going to talk to it and just get started here. So I really like the front line that we have coming out from Fnatic right now. You got Taric and you got Maokai. It's going to be hell shredding through this freaking champion. Sorry, excuse my language. And you got the Kalista and a Cassiopeia that stretch through BTXL's lineup. Now you have really good damage coming out from Deadly and Kasing with these Senna, and you can get priority down in that bottom lane due to having double range. I'm just worried about their composition in general. You got the LeBlanc who's have to one-shot somebody, but if you get behind with BTXL's comp, you don't have any front line. You can have Olaf that runs towards you, but if he's behind, he's just going to die. The same with Rumble. Yeah, you can get some equalizers down, but I'm extremely worried about the BTXL composition coming out here. I'm way more satisfied with the one that Fnatic drafted so far.
All right, well, we are within the timer. No F words from my casters, please. I'm going to hand it over to Dan, and then we'll get into our final game with this.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Good freaking day, and we're getting ready to go into game number 5. It's going to be, obviously, match point for both of these teams. What an incredible series we've had so far, Orcs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people already call it after XL won that game 2, to lose a game going past 50 minutes and be 2-0 down in a series, a lot of teams break after that. And I think the fortitude that Fnatic have shown is testament to why they are the 2-time champion of the UK so far, why they're part of such a prestigious org. And this is that opportunity to round the reverse sweep out, but XL still not done yet. And things have been shaken up. We're on new sides for the first time. The Senna's been let through, and they're playing it as a support, not as the fasting Senna we traditionally see. That's something they did play earlier in the split as well. So XL just showing they prefer it like this.
I mean, in a way, it's fasting Senna. In a way,
it functions similarly, but I think when it's with an AD carry, you wouldn't really call it fasting Senna because it's not like it's not the AD playing it. In that scenario, but there's a lot of mid-game power on this BTXL composition, and I think they really need to spike there because when they're one-shotting the enemy team, they're in a great spot. You know, when they win a team fight off a Rumble Equalizer and LeBlanc popping someone, golden. But as soon as it gets to the point where that's no longer possible, you're really going to struggle in the long fight. You have Maokai with a ton of healing. You have the sustained damage of Xmadi and Magi Felix on the Callista Cassiopeia. And then you have the likes of Bravado's Cosmic Radiance just to extend things out. So I think this is really going back to the roots for these teams. An early to mid-game aggressive comp for BTXL, and definitely a more scaling team fight to Fnatic Rising. So it's what we expected from them throughout the split, and they've sort of gone back to it for this game 5. Big question is going to be who's going to be able to execute on those win conditions.
Well, teams are starting up on the same side of the map, actually, as Taxa and Sendo are looking to invade. They were spotted out by those saplings. The second sapling will also proc. So XL know that is going on. Oh, sorry, Fnatic know that this is going on, and Dan's actually just going to go over to his Wolves and probably try for a quick tunnel over to get himself the red buff secured on Taxa's side. We'll have to see how Taxa answers out on this. Remember, Olaf typically goes fairly low in its early clears, mainly to get his passive going. So it's fairly killable to where Hela Blades Rek'Sai.
Definitely is, but it's a little bit concerning because Special's expected to have priority. Oh, seen in some heavy trade.
Nice off the good thing. They flashed forward. They've got the exhaust. They haven't got the... They do have the rend. Xmati finds first blood onto Kasing. Fantastic punish there by Fnatic.
That is the problem with going Senna Ezreal as opposed to Senna and a sort of melee champion who can hold their own. Ultimately, the cost is he ends up going down, and it's a pretty big hit. And now Deadly, no arcane shift.
Deadly, he is going to get run down here. The CC is too much, and Xmati finds himself the kill. Fnatic Rising. A stellar start to this game. Sure, Dan's going to get free buffed. He doesn't really care. Although, I say that, and he's actually looking for Taxa here. He's going to step away. Going to think better of it.
Going to handle that one. But ultimately, hugely favorable trade coming out for Fnatic. And Kasing punished for his hubris. Hubris. Completely butchered that.
What? Sorry?
Hubris.
There we go. Got there in the end.
Got there in the end. You know, it's been a long day, ultimately. 9 games that are possible.
2 best of 5s, man. 2 best of 5s.
But Kasing punished for going this sort of squishy champion that doesn't have the bulkiness you typically expect. We see the Tom Kenches. Even the Rumble, you can play around with that shield and you're a lot less vulnerable. But the Senna is a very easy pickings up against Callista Taric. And 2-0 on Xmati already is a big hit, considering XL are staring down a 3-2 reverse sweep.
Xmati now got himself the Vamp Scepter. Being very, very comfortable as Dan has that flash. He's going for the tunnel, going for the opening. They're going to get the dazzle. Kasing is going to be caught out, and Xmati shorts him down with one more spear. That's a 3-0 Callista to start the game off of Fnatic Rising. They are looking to reverse sweep and hold their title here at the UKLC.
All right, you can't criticize me because you just said shorts him down. So I think we're both guilty of some things there. But what Kasing is guilty of is
All right. So, Pride, he's just going to be a neutralizing lane here on this Maokai. We have to see whether or not they're going to try and do anything here from Taxa. He's actually looking to see if he can make some kind of action breakout towards this mid lane, but Magic Felix with the flash and exhaust. Pretty hard to kind of gank, so looks like for now they're just helping to shove the wave into Magic Felix's face. And Magic Felix can be able to clear out underneath his tower nice and safe. And maybe with Special and Taxa, they might go for a cheeky rotate into X-Matty's lane and see if they can go for a gank on the bot side here. Five minutes on the clock. Gold lead heavily in favor of Fnatic Rising, purely off the fact that they had
Hello? 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 Can you hear me? No, okay, my camera's on. Nice, cool. Wait, I hear someone. Hello? Yo.
pushing when you shove, so give it up, give it up, give it up. Don't you try to judge me. You can take a back seat. You might sing a pretty song, but it's going on too long. I'm not sorry. Won't be going down so easy from your push and shove, shove. Don't you try to judge me. You can take a back seat. You might sing a pretty song, but it's going on too long. Don't you try to judge me. You can take a back seat. You might sing a pretty song, but it's going on too long. I'm not sorry. Won't be going down so easy from your push and shove, shove. You love the city for the lights, but there's no one at home. Well, sugar, maybe you've been here too long. I got 100 sets tonight, you'll be sleeping alone. Let me know, let me know, let me know. When you're looking so precious, so carefully careless. Every time that we play our favorite little game. Yeah, honey, show me what you're made of, made of. Will second chances ever save us, save us? I put my money and my heart where my mouth is. Listen the all again, all or nothing. We made a scene in the casino and they asked us to leave. I keep a red queen hidden up my sleeve. We can be secretive and silent, just remember to breathe. You and me, you and me, you and me, oh. Now I'm falling through the cracks with my hands behind my back. Every time that we play our favorite little game, our favorite little game. Yeah, honey, show me what you're made of, made of. Will second chances ever save us, save us? I'll put my money and my heart where my mouth is. Listen the all again, all or nothing. I got it hidden up my sleeve. I'm falling through the cracks.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the pause. Sorry about the delay. I don't know what you heard and what you didn't hear. Unfortunately, there were a few issues on Discord, so we had to quickly drop a bunch of people out. Everyone's jumping in and out. We didn't know who was live and who wasn't live. Just unfortunately is the
I'm
way
alive.
it is with the current. Yeah, I'm glad you're live. Just like it's just unfortunately the current state of way things can be in the with obviously everyone doing a home broadcast, but we persevered through. The very graciously waited for everybody to reconnect, and we're back into game.
Right, and just to restock of where we were, we saw a great 2v2 kill bot lane onto Kissing, and then we saw Dan come down and look to punish that again. They got Kissing, they got Deadly with a dive, and it's been a little bit quieter since then. You can see a CS lead built up in the top lane between Sendo. That's just essentially out from the isolated 1v1. It's kind of expected in this matchup, so where I'd say it goes is that the Maokai really kind of have priority against the... the Rumble has priority against the Maokai, and then can apply that pressure. And it's kind of when Maokai gets one item and he's got like magic resist to back him up, that he really starts being a comfortable spot, because then he can set up ganks with the twisted advance. He can also be a monster in team fights because he can just kind of soak up that damage. But in the early levels, he is expected to kind of suffer a bit. Now, the big things to note is I think jungle Taxes managed to find a big lead, and obviously we saw Dan put pressure down bot lane. Typically, Dan's someone we see have quite a healthy clear consistently, and he's 2 levels down now compared to Taxa. Mid lane, though, I gotta say, Magic Felix holding up pretty well in the 1v1, all things considered. Little normally can be quite problematic for some mages.
Yeah, Magic Felix on a comfortable pick for him, handling this pretty well. But sure, Dan is down, and obviously that's afforded the Cloud Drake early over to BTXL. It's the first time they've been able to get one in the last 2 games. But Fnatic, they've been able to push their advantages in the bot lane. So Dan sacrificing clear and experience to get his AD carry ahead. And they know that xMatty is going to be one of the avenues to get this game snowballing in their favor. Now, it looks like Fnatic going to shove this wave in. They could go for the reset here or rotate around to try and get their hands on to this Rift Herald, but it'll be spawning up nice and soon. We'll have to see whether or not they want to go for that. Rift Herald's up now.
Looking to apply some pressure towards mid lane. It's really hard to threaten special, but you can definitely shove the wave in and kind of just zone him out. So obviously not a ton of wave clear afforded to the LeBlanc other than that distortion, which puts you kind of on the line if you jump forward, so you'll quickly go forwards and back. And they're not even going to go for the reset. They're just going to straight rotate up towards top side. And I think the reason for this is it can't be answered. Deadly and Kasing so far behind, so weak. They're going to throw a true shot barrage up to try and wager a steal, but it's not really going to come through. Fnatic should be able to pick this one up. So pretty strong in the early game so far. They obviously didn't manage to get that dragon. The goal lead in their favor, and they should be able to expand that with this Herald available. I think now the reset comes in. They're just going to go back bot lane. No reason to stay on the top side, and Pride essentially hasn't had to move at all. Does mean they missed a wave or 2 in the bot lane, but the end result is still favorable for Fnatic. It has meant, though, this blue's been taken away. 1 plate gone down, and Deadly's been able to catch up with that CS discrepancy.
Yeah, so Deadly obviously being able to catch up was pretty big there for BTXL, but Fnatic overall holding their teleports, holding their lanes, pretty happy with this. And we'll have to see how effectively Dan's going to use this Rift Herald now to try and pull an advantage for his team. Again, this dive pressure is still there. Kasing has flash and heal back. It's going to be a bit harder to punish him like they were able to do earlier on in this game. xMatty's just going to catch this wave and look to shove it up. They've got Dan waiting in the wings here. Special once again going in for a fight. Magic Felix actually misses out on the Petrifying Gaze, but just chasing back down with the poison and the Twin Fang. So he's able to turn that fight at least somewhat in his favor.
Big takeaway, though, is look at the mana of Magic Felix, and that's the difference denying the blue has. Cassiopeia in an extended trade beats a lot of champions, but the mana is always the issue. Even with the tier starting to stack up, it's just not enough right now. And so not having that blue buff is a big hit. And actually, True Shot Barrage comes in and interrupts the recall for Magic Felix. So actually a pretty big hit in that regard. And on the back of that, Magic Felix being low on mana after the reset, you can see Sendo has actually rotated down. You can also see the specials moving with Taxa, and they're looking to contest this dragon. Maddie and Verada gotta be a little bit careful they don't get caught out.
Let's get caught out by the Axe for the slows. They're looking to chase. Another Axe will connect as they use the Fate's Cool. Trying to jump Bravado in forward here. They've got Pride moving forward. He's got the Nature's Grasp, and Dragon's been started up, and Dan can look to come over that wall. XL are going to get zoned away momentarily here by Fnatic, and that's going to be the equalizer thrown down. The Nature's Grasp also thrown out in response, and in comes Magic Felix. Going to look to swing some Twin Fangs in there. Throws out the Miasma to catch Deadly off guard, but low mana bar for xMatty. He's not going to be able to rend too much more here. And the Infernal Drake is going to get peeled out here towards the side of Fnatic Rising. They're looking to get this dragon. They don't want to just give up 2 for free. And XL is just going to have to respect that. Although Special looks to jump over the wall, not going to get it. Infernal Drake to Fnatic Rising. And we're looking at an ocean map in this game, which is fantastic for Pride.
Absolutely. The Maokai is going to become nigh on unkillable if they can secure that one. I think the mana regen, pretty important for Magi Felix and Bravado. So definitely a huge objective if Fnatic can secure that. But it's still quite a distance away. I think critically, XL had a decent idea going for that contestation as they put Magi Felix on the reset, but ultimately they weren't able to find it. The big takeaway from that scenario, though, is that Pride burnt his TP, whereas Sendo still has his. So they have managed to find themselves a TP advantage, despite them being super far behind currently in this game, at least when we're talking between Xmatty and Deadly.
They are going to get a fair amount of turret plates there. The teleport's getting used by Sendo. He doesn't have that equalizer, but the Dazzle and the Cosmic Radiance is going to proc. And that means that these two are going to be exceptionally hard to kill now. They now use that equalizer onto the backline. It will send a couple of members packing, but Fnatic hold onto their lives, get those plates, and they get out scot-free. This wave's going to crash in, but Xmatty feels healthy enough to be able to clear through this wave with the healing from his Vamp Scepter and Bravado. And this is just afforded time over to Pride in the top lane, who's going to pick himself up some plates and some gold for himself.
Yeah, and the end result is they instantly try and capitalize on that TP advantage, and it just doesn't work effectively. The disengage too good from the Taric with the Cosmic Radiance, and the result is they now have given a situation where Pride's TP will be up sooner, so they can utilize that. And he's been able to pick up a few plates, close that CS discrepancy. This Maokai is going to get to the point where he feels extremely hard for anyone in BTXL to kill, especially now with the Abyssal Mask going up against Sendo. He doesn't feel nearly as threatened in this matchup with all that Magic Resist available to him. So pretty significant. XL trying to sort of answer back and not really finding much at all. Gold discrepancy is 1,500 now. But I do have concerns because this LeBlanc down in farm now because of all the roaming that's sort of undergone. Rumble still up in farm compared to the Maokai, but the plates are going to be a significant factor. And I think that if BTXL don't find some momentum, they are going to struggle as this game goes on.
Looks like XL are going to try and get priority around this Rift Herald that spawns up in a minute's time. They've rotated Special into that side lane, realizing they want to get that advantage there. The equalizer gets thrown out onto Xmatty, but he just uses the Blade the Rune King and actually trades out pretty effectively there. Gets himself the plate and gets out. And now Fnatic, they can look to reset back into the base, get some items bought up for the Rift Herald if they want to go for it. But for now, looks like they're just more interested in getting first turret blood. The plates have fallen off. There's no more bonus resistances to cut through. Fnatic rotating multiple members over as Taxa has spotted out Dan. Got Kasing with him. Magi Felix dodging away on a fair few abilities there, but does still get chunked out.
That chain connected, it could have mean him going down, but ultimately unable to find it. First tower going to go in the pocket of Xmatty, so he's very happy with that scenario. He's already on that Blade of the Moon King's power spike, and Pride has just been left to solo lane in the top side of the map. And as much as like Maokai is in your typical late game carry, if he gets farmed up, you're going to have so much difficulty trying to deal with him. Your composition really isn't the best at shredding down tanks.
The stronger he gets, the stronger he feels in these 1v1s and so in these team fights as the frontline tank. Special actually just going to get chunked out here. Pride throws out the Nature's Grasp as Kasing looks to chase him down. Deadly coming in, and Pride just brought so much pressure for his team. He's going to be able to base off, rejoin the rest of his team as they're starting up this Rift Herald here. It looks like Fnatic are just going to have to forgo this objective. They don't want to fight for it yet. They had to go for the bait, and Xmatty actually went for the Hex Drinker, so he wants to survive ability versus Sendo and Special.
And I think they're the significant threats right now in these mid-game team fights. Obviously, they're leveled up because they're solo laners, both of them at level 10 right now. And Xmatty knows that they can offer a significant threat. With Kalista, essentially, Blade of the Moon King Runans is the only like major core items. Anything else you often just itemize defensively, whether it's lifesteal, whether it's things like the GA, the Hex Drinker, the Merc Scimitar. A lot of flexibility with this champion, which is why I think Kalista can do so well, especially when there's threat from the enemy team. If you see the LeBlanc coming for you and you have a more Mortis, you feel a lot more confident to sort of outplay that.
A Dragon spawning up in 20 seconds time, and Fnatic are moving over to get this. Magi Felix also this time going to get his blue buff. which means that mana problems you were talking about will be somewhat alleviated. He's also finished up his Archangel staff at this point, so he'll obviously have himself some additional mana to work with. First item finished up onto the Cassiopeia, looking to stack it up, however. Dragon spawning up from Fnatic. They're just going to get this uncontested. That's 2 in the pockets of them. Meanwhile, turret in the top lane will fall here. The Rift Tail's been used, and Special's going to be the one gifted all of the solo gold here.
So trying to get this LeBlanc ahead, handing over that gold. Obviously no plates on the second Herald, so not as significant as some of the trade-offs we saw earlier, but still...
Oh, the flat forward. He goes for the Petrifying Gaze. Deadly almost gets caught out. He's so low, but in comes Bravado with the Ignite. Deadly goes down. X-Matty is answered out, though, here with the tower shots.
Could have been a better played scenario. Maddie taking the tower aggro is a big hit, and Bravado still had that ult available, not used.
Stun, Magic Felix is ignited, and Taxa snipes him. Goes in for the chains. They're looking for Special now. Special gets knocked up underneath the tower, and Dan answers out. Teleport coming in. Pride's here to defend this tower with his team. Fnatic go 2 for 2.
Can't really complain too much for either side there. Obviously, being behind, BHXL want to try and trade evenly. It's favorable for them. But considering how rough some of those moments were for Fnatic, then to still go 2 for 2 is pretty positive. Cosmic Radiance still available and not used in that scenario. In fairness, I don't think there was specifically a good time to use it other than at the start of that encounter. The end result is maybe could have prevented someone's death. 2k the goal lead now for Fnatic Rising still. 3 up in kills and securing that second dragon. Definitely making things, putting more of a timer on the game, I'd say, for XL. Because right now already, you feel like picks like the LeBlanc are going to be less relevant as the game goes on. Olaf as well. And the Drakes are just making that amplified even more so. Because I feel like if the Ocean Soul goes over to Fnatic Rising, you're just never going to kill Pride.
Pride's gone for the Swifty boots as well, so he is really looking to run people down.
Actually pretty good here because there's a lot of slows on the side of BTXL. And Kasing's Glacial Augment and the Olaf from the Rumble. So, and they did get buffed, so you obviously get plus 60 movement speed, so better at getting in range for those twisted advances. I think really when Pride gets like the Spirit Visage, probably going to be his third item, is he probably wants Sunfire now for a bit of armor. When he gets the Spirit Visage, that healing is going to be insane, and coupled with an Ocean Soul, that's really the point where I feel like XL are going to struggle to come back into the game. For now, though, still trying to apply this pressure. You can see in the bot lane, you look over, Sendo and Taxa trying to take down this tower.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick that one up, as Pride has had to back away. So this will be another tower over to the side of BTXL. Magic Felix pushing in here on to Special. Gets himself a favorable trade-off with the Miasma. He's just shoving this wave in top side as Special forces out the ultimate from Magic Felix, top lane.
Yeah, Magic Felix trying to find him in that situation to get the stun, but an engage coming in from Dan.
Yeah, he's got Bravado at his back as well. The chains are going to connect, but I don't know how far he can go here. Dan doesn't have that Void Rush. He already used it, and Magic Felix trying to run him down. Can't quite find that, but the turret will crumble here. It's the True Shot Barrage thrown out as an answer here by Deadly, and Deadly now wanting to push up in this mid lane, but with X-Matty making his way over to try and hold this for his team, there's no way they're going to be able to get that mid lane tier 1 yet.
Deadly still not feeling confident enough to step up against these two. Magic Felix on this Cassiopeia once again looking really formidable. In the side lane, typically somewhere that you can be vulnerable on one of these control mages. He's holding up completely fine, and Special just unable to really do much. Yes, he baited out the Petrifying Gaze, but he really wasn't able to capitalize on that or put too much damage down onto Magic Felix, especially as Magic Felix now has the Saras fully stacked, full that shield if he needs it.
Yeah. Well, also, Magic Felix is just about to get the Petrifying Gaze back, so there was like a window where he didn't have it, but that window's been alleviated now, so Fnatic, they're fine just, whiffing one ultimate and not getting punished for it is completely fine there. They got their turret as well. And now Fnatic, question is what is their game plan? They got a minute until this Ocean Drake, so it looks like the Fnatic Death Rush is on the cards.
Spot out Taxa. Taxa will spot out them. Looks like XL's response is just to push up mid lane and then contest priority there. Equalizer going to slow them on the approach, and the tower is achieved, but that's a lot invested.
Yeah, it does chunk Bravado out, though.
But I don't think this is enough to guarantee them the dragon, because you've just burned one of your biggest team fighting ultimates in this scenario.
Yeah, the base is just going to come down for Bravado. He'll get back onto the map. X-Matty now has that Hurricane for this next fight. Ocean Drake spawning up in 30 seconds, and are Fnatic going to answer out? They're a little bit of a ways away. Dan's nowhere near.
I feel like
He's making his way over now.
I feel like they can handily win this fight. They've got a Rylai's for Magifelix as well. These are some huge spikes for these carries. Cell feeling confident to pressure in and get control of the area, but if Fnatic want to take this fight, I feel like they win.
Yeah, Pride is going to be a formidable front line as well for XL to deal with. XMAD is going to push in the wave with that Runins. He's going to have so much more wave clear afforded to him, to the likes of Deadly, the likes of Special. This is one of the weak things that XL's comp has, is very little wave clear. You obviously have to get in the wave if you're going to clear it out as the LeBlanc connects Maddie. He's going to throw the ultimate in. Bravado looks for the dazzle, does connect it onto Deadly. Deadly is rinsed through, and Dan jumps into the backline, cleans out the kill as the equalizer is thrown down. That's going to be the ulti thrown out by Kasing, but Pride is onto Taxa. In comes Special onto the backline, though, kills himself the jungler. Pride holds his life. Magic Felix is low, but that's going to be the turnaround as X-Matty gets himself the kill. More and more healing is being layered on to these Fnatic members to make sure they don't die, and Special has to find himself the cleanest kill onto X-Matty, and I just don't think he has it possible. The life still on X-Matty means it's just too hard to actually find this kill, and this should be the dragon getting picked up as Magic Felix is going to throw out the zone for the moment, as that is the dragon picked up. It's one away for Fnatic from Ocean Soul, and they're getting harder and harder to cut through.
Beautiful execution, though. Finding the pick on it to Deadly, really nice with the engage from the Fate's Call and the follow-up. They take him out, and instantly it feels like XL on the back foot. And despite a great equalizer and some great flanks from Special, Fnatic stay group.
Oh, Dan's got himself onto Special. Special has to jump away. Dan, not going to chase anymore. Didn't have that Void Seeker, but it's enough to send Special packing as now Dan gets the Chilling Smite, gets the knock up and the flash out, but they can just pop him back here. Equalizer's been thrown down, but Miasma's a little bit too short, and Pride tanky, but not that tanky. As Magic Phoenix going a little aggressive here. They got a lot of tower shots. It's now Deadly. Maybe able to chase it onto him, but he's not going to find it. We'll have ourselves a quick pause here.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of lag from Magi Felix. It actually looked like he skipped for a second. I think that was like server lag potentially. Not
that felt like that was me as well.
Because I thought Magi Felix flashed there because he just jumped. But fortunately, he didn't come out at like an inopportune moment because I feel like the fight is sort of ended there. So not too much of an issue. Hopefully that's our one-off and we can get away with it. But ultimately, the takeaway there is Fnatic really good patience to play around the Taric. They're grouped together. They don't let themselves be spread apart. And the end result is they're able to come out favorably in that fight and pick up the dragons. So they're now one off that soul. They're already getting quite a bit of health regen from those dragons. But if they get the third ocean and get the full soul, they'll be in such a good situation. And I feel like at that point, the game is just in their hands to take.
X-Matty's got that Hurricane, now got himself a BF sword. So building most likely towards that Bloodthirster. As his next item to kind of add to the amount of lifesteal, he's got the amount of sustain he'll have. That shield will mean it'll be even harder for Special to kill him. If he can get himself the Ocean Soul on top of that, it's going to be so hard to kill X-Matty.
I agree. And I think X-Matty is the sort of person who will itemize defensively. We've seen that before when he was playing against Barrage. Just stack the magic resist against a heavy AP team, and he will play for survival. And we've seen that in the previous games in this series where it felt like X-Matty should have died when he was caught up in between several members, and he manages to survive long enough to turn things around. Now, Fnatic are trying to apply pressure on this bot side river. They kind of want to maintain control here, even well advanced to the dragon. Special is moving down for the top side. Magic Felix looking to follow. See some members caught out.
Yeah, they're looking to actually jump on to the side of Taxa. He gets chunked out.
Ult down instantly. Dan nearly enough to actually take him out. I think if he ulted him, potentially could have actually got the kill, but maybe would have sacrificed his life, so not worth it. They'll take the ult, they'll take the chunk, and they're happy just to reset in this situation.
Now, the key thing here for XL is they've still got this turret where Fnatic don't. So XL still have like a point they can hide up, but it's fairly high up in the lane, where Fnatic have to kind of step further and further back. At the moment, they're struggling to get close enough to the tower to actually kill it.
I think despite the fact they're not able to take the tower down, you can see how much pressure Fnatic have. They're able to step up, and BTXL are just kind of afraid of them. They know how strong this Callista is, and I'd like to have a look at the individual gold numbers, because despite there being only a 2,000 gold lead, I don't think it tells the full story of the differentials between these two teams. Because right now, that you can have a 2,000 gold lead just between the 80 carries.
That's entirely, yeah, that is literally the 80 carries of the 2,000 gold lead. Xmatty, 11k gold to 9k gold here on Deadly. Xmatty now building towards that Bloodthirster. He's a bit of a ways off. He probably won't have it for the next dragon. It's up in a minute and 40 seconds. Stan's just clearing out the vision around this Baron Nashor currently. Although, XL don't have a quick Baron. Fnatic have a very quick Baron, but XL really don't. I guess they have the Olaf.
I mean, even Olaf isn't that fast. Because the thing is, Olaf often tanks it, and whoever's tanking the Baron does half damage to it, so...
Yeah. Well, when I'm saying their fastest person to kill the Baron is the Olaf, then you know there's a problem.
Yeah, I think that's often why you see two-man Barons rather than one-man Baron, because you need someone to tank it and take that debuff, and then you need someone to beat the DPS like Cassiopeia. For now, Dragon spawning soon, and you can see XL once again posturing in the area. They steal away this blue.
Special looks to jump onto Pride here, but Pride is a pretty tanky boy, even though he does lose half his health. Magic Felix gets caught out by the Equalizer. 50 seconds until this dragon spawns up, and it should be enough just to send the Fnatic members back to base to reset. But again, XL burn a lot of their kind of major cooldowns, I think, prior to the objective spawning.
Sustain from the Taric, coupled with like Cassiopeia and Maokai have inbuilt sustain, so they've just brushed that off. They're completely fine to sort of push up again. You can see they're full HP once more. At this point, with the ults, with the Equalizer used, I think XL just have to give this. And if they contest, I just don't think they win. And Special's applied pressure top and he's moving over. Like, they didn't win the last fight, and I think it's just got worse from there. So we'll see how this one pans out, but currently XL trying to move forwards. They don't want to give this
one. Now going in for the flank. They've got the Fate's Call. They've got the Miasma. They've got the damage, and Sendo falls. Nature's Grasp has been used, but with a Cosmic Radiance, Fnatic not even taking damage now. Deadly has to use the Exhaust, but they find a knock-up onto Taxa. He's going to use himself the ultimate, but they're trying to chase in for more. Dan's going to flash away. Xmatty looking to chase for the kill, but that is going to be a kill from Pride onto Kasing, and Special being zoned away from the objective. Taxa too low. He doesn't even have his smite currently. Will be coming off cooldown shortly. But Fnatic will get themselves the Ocean Soul, and they are well and truly on their way to reverse sweep this series versus BTXL.
They're going to play reserved and go for the reset, not wanting to over-risk things by going for the Baron. But to have the Ocean Soul right now with their composition, it's just so worrying. There's a lot of mana concerns for champions like Cassiopeia or Taric in extended fights. That's not going to be as much of an issue with that regen. And the Maokai. The Maokai is the critical one, who is just going to feel nigh on unkillable right now, especially once he picks up the Spirit Visage. Locket just taken there for bravado. I feel like Xmatty, got the Bloodthirster, so so much healing already afforded. And you can see Execution is calling, taken for Deadly to try and mitigate some of that. Morale and Omicron for Sendo as well. But it just really isn't going to be enough. I feel like right now, Fnatic are super strong. Despite only being 2,000 gold ahead, they should be comfortable to look for a fight here and translate that into a Baron.
And this game really feels, really feels like an Xmatty grudge match right now. You saw him tweet out as Deadly was kind of calling him out a little bit. And Xmatty...
Yeah, 5-0 was the head-to-head between Deadly and Xmatty before this series. But now it's 7-2, still in favor of Deadly. But to take this one and win the title, I think it kind of disregards the individual matchup. It's more about who actually has the title, and I'm going to start with Baron.
This is so hard to deal with. They do have that Equalizer inside the pit, so it makes it a little bit harder, but Baron's going to remain aggroed momentarily. As Xmatty uses the Fate's Call to try and get Bravado in. Bravado flashes forward. Actually could be his doom here, as he's going to be running very, very low. The Equalizer's going to be enough. Taxa finds himself the kill, but it's answered back out with the death of Sendo. Pride healing back up, though. The Ocean Soul just so strong for them. Fnatic, they're okay going for this trade right now. Losing support for top laner. Special looks to find something onto Magic Felix. Fnatic not able to find the Baron, though.
Yeah, it was actually honestly a little bit messy from Fnatic there, but they're not punished too hard. The regen is just so strong with the Ocean Soul that even in the sort of extended fights where they can stall things out, they're pretty comfortable.
Maybe looking for a bit of a dive here with Dan in that flank, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. There's a massive wave bot lane, and someone from XL has to go handle that. with Bravado back on the map, Fnatic may just look to go back towards Baron, but looks like for now they're going to step away.
Importantly, Sendo TP'd there to answer. So they no longer have a TP to match these waves in the side lane, whereas Pride still has his. So it's going to make things even more difficult. And actually, you'll see, Sendo's not even going bot lane. The wave's already died, and they're just leaving it. So that's giving up farm, which is just going to extrapolate this goal difference between these two teams. Already you're seeing from Matty, with a massive amount of farm at 312 CS. And with waves being missed out by BTXL, the differences are just going to get even bigger.
And how hard is Pride to kill now? He's got the Sunfire Cape, he's got the Abyssal Mask, he's got a lot of health, and he's got the Ocean Soul. He's going to be so hard to cut through, just for the amount of sustain he'll have combined with that with a Taric.
I think he still goes down in an okay amount. I think Special having the Void Staff is a big factor, and the Leandries as well, especially Blader and King for Deadly. But I think once you get Spirit Visage, it becomes very difficult. I think Spirit Visage onward is where it becomes more significant, because his healing ramps up massively.
Well, that's when Nature's Grasp actually getting thrown out here. Fnatic continue to go back towards the Baron. It is going to continue to start up here, and Pride will be the one to tank it, although Magic Felix gets instantly chunked out. It looks like that is enough from Special just to zone Fnatic off the Baron. They are itching for this objective, but they're not willing to throw the game for it yet.
Thing is that Fnatic can just go back, reset, grab their waves, and the waves still activate the Ocean Soul. It's weakened, but they're still able to heal. I mean, look at Magic Felix, he's full HP again. He was at a wave for like 2 seconds and he's back to full, and that's why it's so difficult, because BTXL consistently have to check Fnatic on these Barons. Every time he gets started up, they have to show up, they have to try and force them off, but the end result is Fnatic don't really suffer. They just go back, not even to base, they just heal up off waves, clear out the vision, and can start all over again. They're just repeating this endlessly. Now, Elder Dragon being up in about 1.5 minutes is going to be a bit more significant, because that means there's another objective on the map they may have to contest. But right now, they're just happy pulling BTXL in towards this Baron.
And get your eye on Special. I feel like he is the one who has to find this assassination off. Look at Dan, though, in the wings, waiting for his opportunity. Pride takes a bit of damage here from the axe from Taxer as they jump in. They get the stun off onto Special. He is down, and Fnatic just go back to Baron, back to business. As Pride throws out the Nature's Grasp as well, just to zone the members of BTXL away. Deadly chunked out, and Pride just being so tanky on this front line. The Ragnarok is forced, the Equalizer is forced, and that's the Cosmic Radiance to keep Pride alive. Magic Felix flashes over the wall to try and get the damage into Taxa. He's dodging away from a lot of the damage though. Fnatic are chasing for the kills. They've already got the Baron. Now they're looking for the glory and the kills. 4 members of XL have fallen.
Huge play coming out from Fnatic. They get the Baron critically. That pick onto LeBlanc was the important one. And once that threat had been eliminated, they felt confident to continue. The healing available to this composition means the damage just isn't really relevant towards them. And now they can reset. They've got a 5,000 gold lead nearly. They can spend that gold and then start pushing with that Baron. That mid tower that's still up, gonna get taken down. And Fnatic, this could be the reverse sweep, but they still need to close the game out. They still need to make use of this Baron. They're looking towards the Elder for now, though.
Yeah, the Moore's fully finished up
position to contest this.
He has that cooldown reduction to work with. Elder Drake up, and Fnatic are on the objective. Yeah, they're nowhere near.
Tax is
just leaving the base now.
I think this is gone. And I think if this is gone...
Well, X-Maddie's soloing it. The rest of the team is just zoning. Special looks to try and clear the wall, but they're just keeping him out the pit. They're keeping everybody out of the pit. Fnatic just are kind of playing the game, but they're setting up vision. But Fnatic, they're actually doing the Elder Drake right now. And they got a kill onto Special as well. I didn't see how that happened.
Essentially, Dan just found him, smited him, closed the gap, jumped on him, ulted, and that was the end result. Special unable to really do anything. And at this point, it really feels like Fnatic are taking the game in their stride. Gonna start pushing a bot lane. They've got the Elder, they've got the Baron still, so they've got the empowered minions and that true damage execution as well. They'll just have to kind of wait this out, but I feel like their base is gonna be in a shambles by the time this is done. Tax is actually pushing on the top side of the map. Things are looking rough right now.
Fnatic now inside the base. The Equalizer has been thrown out here, and XL gonna have to give up this inhibitor. They still don't have their mid laner. Fnatic actually may just look to close the game out. They've got the Elder, they've got the Baron, they've got a very powerful combination here.
And what a manner to do it when XL have the undefeated streak going through this series, and it's only just at the end that Fnatic managed to turn it around. Didn't manage to take a single game of them in the regular season, and XL were undefeated until we got to the point of this finals, 2-0 up, and then the reverse sweep comes in. Just a huge achievement overall for Fnatic Rising, and it's when no one expected it. I think Split 1, Split 2 last year, Fnatic Rising were obviously favored. They had a really stacked roster, and it was a huge org moving into the UK. But more than ever, this XL looked like they were going to be able to challenge. They looked like they were going to be able to take the title, and to lose at literally the last hurdle must be such a hit. But I just got to say congratulations to Fnatic. They had a lot of issues throughout the split, but they've worked on those. The drafts have gotten cleaner, and I feel like even though we've had criticism for individuals like Pride, for example, they stepped up massively and were instrumental in them getting this win. Got to praise Xmaddie though, had a monster series so far.
Xmaddie, he played so well, and for the side of XL, it was, you know, the higher you climb, the further you fall. As we are going to bring in Excalibur and Goldberg to join us. I'm currently just a Discord icon, but we're figuring me out currently. Excalibur, take it away.
Yeah, we've obviously had some challenges with the online broadcast today, but I feel like we muddied our way through it pretty well. Like I said, what is it about Fnatic that makes them XL's kryptonite in a best of 5 series, especially in the finals? I mean, XL, by all rights, the season they've had should have absolutely crushed this final. And somehow Fnatic, once again, when it counted, stepped up to the plate and took it off XL. XL forever the bridesmaid of the UK. Fnatic will go to Fnatic will go to the European Masters as the first seed here. XL will go in as second into the group stages, giving them a harder run through that European Master group stage. But I actually don't even know what to say. I genuinely thought that this was XL's time. I genuinely thought that this was the finally the time where BTXL would grasp themselves that crown. But no, Fnatic step up and once again win.
At least they're getting closer. At least they're getting closer is all I'm saying.
Yeah, true. But we did say it. We said this was the best form we've seen XL in for the longest time for this entire org. Probably the strongest roster we've ever seen for this org. And Fnatic, we even said we don't think this is even them at their strongest form. They've definitely last season they had stronger forms and didn't really seem to matter. They just played insanely well, and Xmaddie and Magic Felix, the two kind of stay members for the Fnatic Rising roster, were the two that just really impressed me in that game. And I have to also give a big shout out to Pride, because I think Pride neutralized Sendo exceptionally well. It kind of started in game 3 when they just camped Sendo and just shut him down. But honestly, that was not the Fnatic we've seen in the regular season. So if everyone's wondering why we were all wrong and we all thought XL were going to win, it's because that wasn't the Fnatic we saw throughout the entirety of spring.
I'm looking, man. So you go back.
Okay, yeah, but surely that was the best form we've seen them all split. Like, they stepped up hugely in this final, coming in clutch, reverse sweeping. And honestly, I also feel like, yeah, as you said, we should cut Pride some slack here. He got resources towards this top side. Even when he played against Poppy as an Aatrox, he still ran away with the game, drew a lot of pressure towards the top side, still got out with the side lane minutes, and really good in team fights as well, especially on this Maokai today as well. You see that Sendo opts in for the Rumble, tried to be a team fight in minutes. Pride knows his weakness. He knows his strength. So he just goes for the weak side top laner in Maokai on his ban. So he might as well go for the second best here. And he makes it work. No one was able to touch Pride. And he was able to be that frontline. A frontline that from BTXL side, you didn't have any. You had the Rumble. You had Olaf. You didn't have anything that makes sense for you to fight. You could never fight in objective. You can never step up. And it just collapsed slowly. You had to make the early game work, and as soon as they didn't do that, the longer they got into the late game, the further they got from a win at BTXL's side. So I feel like you have to go back to the drawing board, even though you can't, but towards the EU Masters, especially with the dives coming in from them today, I feel like the regular XL that we saw just disappeared as soon as we got to game 3.
I don't know, whenever I see XL draft and they have a timer on their draft, I always feel like they screw it up somehow. Like, I don't know what it is about XL, and then for instance, like LeBlanc and Rumble, they fall off pretty hard. XL just didn't have a way to get back into the game. If they misstepped once versus Fnatic in that final game, there wasn't really many avenues they could find their way back in with. And we've seen that a couple of times, some glimpses of that throughout the UKLC split, but obviously they kind of got those big Sendo backdoors, for instance, that actually saved the game for them. But those were the games where we pointed towards XL and said they look a bit weak in that scenario, Dan.
I think I'll call back to the first matchup between Fnatic and XL this split. And Fnatic picked heavy scaling, and XL picked things like the Syndra, which needed to find that early pressure, and they did it well. I think just there were holes in their composition this time. The Senna Ezreal was a massive vulnerability that you could see from a mile away. It was going to be punished by the Kalista Taric, and it was. And I think that left a hole in their composition that, despite the early pressure, Olaf, LeBlanc, they couldn't make up for that discrepancy. And I think we did say there were issues with XL. We didn't say, this team's bad by any means, but we said they're not flawless. And I think as much as this obviously hurts the organization to go through this, and as much as the players will be struggling right now, the fact is, if they went to EU Masters without being challenged, I feel like this would have just happened there. And so my hope is that this series has given XL a lot to think about going to EU Masters, because they're still going to be there. They're still going to be in the group stage. And also it's shown us that Fnatic are capable of potentially being that team we saw this past year. So for me, I feel like this is probably going to, in the long term, give us the best results and potentially represent the UK extremely well at EU Masters.
Yeah, I think you're exactly correct, Dan. I think XL probably needed a slight wake-up call. They were definitely not untouchable, and I think Fnatic has proved that right now. Yes, it's going to hurt that you have, for the third time in a row, lost the UK split title to Fnatic, and this was definitely the best shot you've ever had at taking it. But I think Dan's correct. I think this gives the UK a better period of reflection going into the European Masters, because we are heading into probably one of the most stacked European Masters we've ever had in terms of talent and teams across the board from all of the major regions. So this is really big for both of those teams to step up to the plate now and actually prove that they could put the UKLC on the map again when it comes to European Masters performances. Guys, look, I'm just trying to figure out if we're getting a player coming in. I think we've had some issues with Discord, so it might not be the case. I think that's very understandable, of course, since we've had a couple of online issues. I really wanted to hear how nervous Xmatty was for that game. It was one of the things I'm looking forward to hearing. But nonetheless, guys, I do want to say a huge thank you to all of you who've been on the cast today. Jake and Dan, you're always fantastic. You always put on a brilliant show, and I always love listening to you cast all the UKLC games. And Gulborg, coming into a scene which you've had no experience in, you gave us a lot of credit for the Nordic scene on the finals. I want to give you a lot of credit to stepping up to the plate and providing analysis for a scene that you haven't really been part of. You did a really good job, so well done, mate. And obviously being an analyst on an online broadcast can definitely feel a bit weird, but you did a really great job there as well. So thank you so much to all of you guys and all of the people watching and all of the teams as well that have been part of the UKLC this split. I'm really looking forward to what we could do in the European Masters. Any last words from you guys before we close out?
I love all of you.
I love you all.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
I am not an emotional person. I'm really bad at showing emotion. You guys did great. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, guys. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. And we will have to close it out there. The Nordic and the UKLC, after a very long online broadcast. Congratulations to Fnatic and to Singularity for winning their respective regions. We will see them all in the European Masters towards the end of April. But for now, we'll close the spring split on both the UKLC and the Nordics. See you soon.